413/304, Part 1, edited copy.
Kick-off match is back, and here at Main Road, Mike Shannon takes the field with Manchester City for his first game against the only other club he's ever played for, Southampton.
We had a lot of good times there, but unfortunately there's only two of the side that won the FA Cup final still left in the side, so I don't know an awful lot about the team, funnily enough.
Well, here is the Southampton lineup. Peach is one of those two survivors that Shannon was talking about, and they're looking for a boost today after being outclassed at Leeds in their last away game. This defence conceded 4 goals at Elland Road a fortnight ago. But in midfield, there's a good-looking blend with the promising young Steve Williams and the industrious Nick Holmes flanking Alan Ball. The real problem is lack of goals now that Ted McDougall has gone back to Bournemouth. Even though it's 9 games since McDougall's last appearance, he's still Southampton's leading scorer with 7. But there's always Alan Ball in his 17th season of league football, and on the evidence of his recent display at Old Trafford, still playing as well as ever. And in defence, one of the foreign imports this season, Ivan Golak, Yugoslav international who came from Partizan Belgrade. The Manchester City lineup, well, that's the one that played so well in beating Milan on Wednesday, which means another chance for Jed Keegan to stake his claim to a permanent place at right back. It also means that Poland's World Cup captain Kazimierz Dana continues finding out about City in the reserves. And there's another game for Peter Barnes, whose performance against Milan showed no evidence of recent problems with his knee. It's interesting that Wednesday's goals came from all 3 departments. Tommy Booth came up from the back to score the first. Asa Hartford, who was a dominant figure in midfield, claimed the second. And Brian Kidd completed the scoring with the third. Today's referee is Mr. Brian Martin from Keyworth in Nottinghamshire, who started his refereeing indeed in Lancashire back in the 1950s. We've had a little bit of rain just before the kick-off to add to all that which fell yesterday, so it's a pretty soft pitch as Southampton start the game attacking the goal to our right. Manchester City in the all light blue strip, Southampton in black shorts with their raspberry little striped shirts. Move to Watson. Just too far ahead of Keegan. Southampton still looking for their first away win in the league. Away from the Dell, they've only a victory at Birmingham in the League Cup. David Peach. Terry Geno, who started his goalkeeping with Bury. For Williams, on towards Boyer, and behind Holmes. Holmes, incidentally, who was the other survivor of that 1976 Cup final side. Keegan. Watson. Donachie out on the near touchline. Hartford. Kidd. Donachie. Under pressure, gave it away to Hebard. Now it's Curran. Curran's cross floats in for Corrigan by the near post. Kidd under no pressure, but an offside flag gives Southampton the free kick. Golak took it, but surely from the wrong place, perhaps not. Ball. Pitch a little bit greasy. Ball again. Everett turning, Williams getting in his way. Viljoen a little bit too hard. Peach. Everett, Viljoen, nicely pulled down. Hartford. Shannon on a powerful run, but it couldn't take him there quickly enough. Ball played through for Shannon to chase, his first showing in the game. Now it's Williams onside with support from Boyer and a good save from Corrigan. Long ball there, caught City. Williams onside, bursting through, and it called for a very good save from Corrigan. Oh, the tackle from behind on Kidd. Referee just having a word with Malcolm Waldron. Kidd still down. Tackled plainly, catching Kidd somewhere down by the ankle. So Jed Keegan is going to take the free kick. City have 6 men up around the edge of the box. Well covered by Waldron. Golak. Williams, ball, and Williams again. Well sorted out by Southampton. Hubbard. Holmes on a break through the middle. Pass was too hard and very neatly controlled by Watson, who looked for Kidd, and if the pass had been accurate, could have been devastating. Ball. Peach. Hubbard. Boyer. And Curran is free over this side. Boyer shoots wide. Well, City haven't been picking up their men very tightly in the penalty area. And Hubbard there contrived to make something for Boyer. And the shot went just past Corrigan's right-hand upright. Quarter of an hour gone, and a slight feeling of ordinary show about Manchester City's performance so far. This game, though, important not only to them in the league, because City's home results have not been too clever, but this is also, of course, a rehearsal for next week's League Cup tie at Southampton. Two teams meeting again there on Tuesday. Now Barnes, who is onside. He's got Shannon on the far side now racing in. Played too long, and Waldron made a good tackle. Barnes was clear, was heading for goal, didn't seem too certain about what was going on around him, and seemed to me not entirely to have made up his mind what he wanted to do, and that allowed the tackle. Barnes with the corner. Geno coming for it and punching well. Booth is after him. Corner, off ball. Paul Power stays back because Booth and Watson are both up in that penalty area with Kidd and Shannon. Plenty of height there. As Barnes swings over the corner. Again towards Booth's head. Watson's shot was deflected. It'll be another corner. Dropped nicely for Dave Watson, and he caught it well, and it's as well for Southampton that there was the deflection. Corner headed away by Holmes, and Williams smuggled it away from Hartford. Power back to Donachie. Keegan. Barnes. Chance for him to run up Peach, perhaps. Waldron is waiting. Viljoen. Dummy by Kidd, and it almost got powering. Credit to Geno for coming so fast off his line. Free kick is given, the ball knocked out of Geno's arms by Power. Waldron jumping with Donachie. Williams. Golak with the throw. Power. Pass asked a lot of Donachie, and Golak is a pretty tough customer. Keegan. Waldron's header. We're midway through the first half. The score sheet still blank. Boyer, crossfield for Curran. Williams ahead of him on the line. Curran going inside, and in two minds it seems. Ball. Everett. Williams. Curran now in the centre forward position. It's a corner off Watson. Movement in the penalty area and plenty of height on the goal line for Southampton. Corrigan coming again for a punch. Williams. Ball. Good jump. Peach's header and then Curran just wide of the post. Back. And Curran the diving header that just shaved the outside of the upright. Tony Book on the Manchester City bench. A bit perturbed, I'd have thought. Especially as Brian Kidd is not looking as though he's 100% fit at the moment. Golak. City warming up Gary Owen, their substitute. Ball beaten in the air by Viljoen. Go back to Williams. This is Steve Williams. Cut out well by Keegan, and City needed that interception. Boom. Booth rode his luck well there. Can he now get the ball out? Hartford can. Golak after him. And Asa Hartford walks away there from a situation where a season or two ago you might have expected to see an angry reaction. Watson with the free kick. Barnes. Oh, he tried to do it. He'd lost Golak, but rather than cross with the right foot, decided to try and come back on the left. Booth penalised for climbing over Boyer. A forward who doesn't jump in that situation can make it extremely difficult for the defender actually to get in the header without committing a foul. Williams. Bad pass. Peach. Boyer. Peach coming, and that's an own goal. Absolutely hammered in there by Colin Viljoen. Peach drove it across low, and Viljoen, I think, just tried to take the sting off it for Corrigan, and in fact it was just much too hard, and Corrigan didn't have an earthly. 35 minutes gone, and Manchester City are 1-0 down, and they paid the penalty for what has been a very undistinguished half hour in defence. Gerlach on Barnes, and that's left Barnes holding his ankle as Hebbard breaks. Referee waves play on as Hartford tries to attract the referee's attention to Barnes. Good tackle by Waldron, stopping Shannon. Watson. Hartford. Barnes is onside. Shannon wanting one in the middle. Came behind him to Kidd, and Geno makes a superb save, but the offside flag had gone up. Great save by Geno. As it happens, it wasn't needed. The offside flag had called them back. Referee, meanwhile, is happily playing on, although on our watches we've had 48 minutes in this half. Only one substantial hold-up when Barnes was injured. Gerlach, and there now is the half-time whistle, with Southampton leading Manchester City 1-0. An own goal by Colin Viljoen, and it must have been the last thing he wanted, having forced his way into the team and knowing that players like Dana and Gary Owen are waiting in the wings. But there it is, 45 minutes still to go. Southampton for the moment in the lead. Join us again in a few minutes. Welcome back to Main Road, where Manchester City will be aiming to pull their socks up very firmly in this second half. It's very interesting looking back through the season's records. 6 times now they've played in Europe this season, and only once have they won on the Saturday after they played a European match. Throw for Shannon. Curran, Williams, Booth, Viljoen, harassed by Ball, Watson, Golak's header goes out of play for a corner. Really can't afford to take things too complacently in the league. They've picked up only 3 points from their last 6 league games, and they've got some tough fixtures ahead of them. Shannon's flick. Boyer. Hartford. And Curran reacts angrily, and Hartford gets up and has a word with him, but once again there's evidence But the little Scotsman has got his temper firmly under control. The referee, meanwhile, has stepped in and is having words with Curran. Full marks once again to Asa Hartford. A good example to any player with a hot temper that it can be controlled. So Curran has had his lecture, and Hartford takes the free kick. Golak. Power. Going up well with Curran. Golak to Curran with Donachie coming in again. Golak on for Holmes. Boyer. That's 2-0. That's a good goal. Simple, well worked and clinically finished. The ball just played along the line. The only man in the middle was Boyer, but he was perfectly found with the cross, and the header from close range past Corrigan, and that really puts Southampton in a very strong position, and it prompts Manchester City to make a substitution. Brian Kidd is going off, and that means a place for Gary Owen. Midfield man for a striker, and that'll mean a certain amount of reorganisation by Manchester City. It's as though Hartford is going to take up a more forward role. Donachie. It's Gary Owen, scorer of 8 goals this season. Shannon was fouled by Nicol. Chris Nicol. Hartford. Too high for Gould, even though, says the referee, he was taking a ride on Waldron's shoulders. Watson. Waldron for Southampton. Ebbard was offside. Linesman with the yellow flag is Mr. Tweets from Court in the Fylde. Owen. Away from ball, good burst of acceleration, robbed by Williams. Barnes, Owen. Ball. Curran. Ebbard and Boyer in the middle. Curran cutting in well, losing one man, losing Donachie. Now the little chip for Ebbard, and that could be number 3. He was harassed by Keegan at the crucial moment, but Curran did well there. First real show we've seen in the game from Curran. Beat one man, then beat the second, who was Donachie. Chipped over a nice cross, but Ebbard, challenged by Keegan, couldn't get it in. Williams. Holmes in. Cleared by Boone. Peach. Hartford. Peach back to Nicol and probably on to Geno. Golak. Curran. Golak again. Ball. Power for City. Shannon. Biljon. Hartford to his right. Biljon wondered about a shot, but the opening was never there. Hartford. Tackled by Peach, who also claims the throw, but in that he's disappointed. David Peach, who was a ball boy at Wembley when Alan Ball won a World Cup winners' medal. Corner now for Manchester City. Barnes to take the corner. Plenty of bodies in the penalty area. Owen. Oh, what a good save by Geno. Ball ran out of that penalty area from the corner, and Owen, in spite of his slight frame, absolutely whacked it and called for a great save from Geno. Now Geno again, and he's collected that well. So two good performances in quick succession there from Geno. In particular, the save that he made from that tremendous shot by Gary Owen. Peach. Quarter of an hour of the second half gone. 2-0 to Southampton. Owen and Boyer tussling. Boyer is penalised, and the referee is going to pick Phil Boyer. Perhaps that single incident not enough to warrant the booking, but I suspect that Boyer may have had one or two quiet warnings beforehand. Tangled with Watson just before. Time to look before he has to play the pass. Plays it for Williams. And Williams has lost both Keegan and Biljon. Played it for Hebard, and Donachie just strokes it back to Corrigan. But again, Southampton running at the City defence, creating problems. There's a push by Nicol on Shepard. Certainly the Southampton defence know all there is to be known about crafty nudges and pushes. Keegan. Through the cross. Hooked away by Waldron. Donachie. Certainly Gary Owen is giving his all out there. That was his throw in that time to Shannon. Now it's Hartford. Carr and Watson in the middle, but Geno claims it very positively. Edward making life difficult for Keegan. Linesman flags for the foul, and surely it'll be given this time. Linesman is on the pitch to separate them. Keegan fouled Curran once, then pulled his shirt, and now the referee is calling them back. The Southampton players are protesting that the free kick should be theirs, but now the referee has had a word with Mr. Martin, and I think Southampton will get the free kick, which surely was theirs. Linesman has words with Mr. Martin, and Mr. Martin gives Southampton the kick. Curran. Hartford coming and hard into Curran after he crossed. Williams. Golak. Header by Holmes, Golak coming onto it. And Corrigan out to smother it. Barnes. Viljoen. Ball intercepted. Now it's Owen. Viljoen again. Ran into Owen. Ran into Williams. Hartford. It's a great ball from Hartford to Barnes. Parr is there. And he's made it. The credit there belongs a great deal to Asa Hartford, who played a magnificent ball to Barnes. And when the winger knocked in the cross, I think the ball may just have been deflected onto Parr and from Parr into the Southampton net, and that is 2-1. It really seemed as though Manchester City needed to give Southampton a 2-goal start before they could convince themselves that it was a serious game of football. And certainly Gary Owen's presence has made a difference too. Ball. Evan. Donachie. Shannon, Hartford floating one, Geno the punch, Barnes the shot and it hit Geno, and that goalkeeper has got his body into the way of some shots. Offside. Shannon looks round wondering who. Shannon to Barnes. Barnes, a nice change of feet there, but too many defenders closing round him. Midway through a second half which has been much more competitive and exciting than the first, Southampton leading 2-1. Waldron. Hibbard. He's fallen very nicely for him, and he's made a mess of it. Our centre forwards ought to score those. Not to say that they're easy, but then if they were all easy, we'd all be centre forwards. It's a good long ball from Waldron, and it dropped perfectly for Hibbard, and he seemed a little bit to lose his head and want to strike it too quickly. Now Hartford with a chance to steady the boat for City. Good run by Shannon. Viljoen was arriving in the middle, but the deflection had taken the ball out for a corner, and the applause is for a long, determined run from Mike Shannon that will have evoked a few memories in the mind of Laurie McMenemy on the Southampton bench. It's a good-looking corner. A lot of bodies up there, and the ball's come out to Owen. Nichols' header took the ball away to safety and then on out for a corner. So Manchester City, having survived pressure at their end, now putting it on at the other. Again a mass of bodies, with this time Geno staying on his line. Southampton working the ball out. Power. Clumsy challenge by Curran. Donachie. Power. Towards Watson's head in the middle. Shannon trying to let it come down for a shot. Against the post. And the rebound came into his arms. Shannon kept very cool there to get that ball down onto his foot, swiveled with the shot, and Geno did well to get down and make the save, pushed it onto the post, came back into his arms, and then I think it was Hartford who came sliding in, and I think that was probably what caused the injury. Laurie McMenemy, the Southampton manager, who earlier this week had hopes that Charlie George would be in his side today, must spend the weekend waiting and still wondering. Well, 3 minutes we lost in that hold-up. Donachie for Manchester City. Owen. Biljon. Keegan. Boyer continuing his policy of harassing the man with the ball. Has hurried City into clearances. A lot of the time has won the ball back for Southampton. Scored their second goal. Really had an outstanding game, Paul Boyer. Sharply on Hartford. Hartford just smiles. Biljon. Kicked by Waldron. And Waldron is probably due for a booking here. Once again, I suspect the cumulative effect of several quiet words of warning from the referee, until eventually he decides enough is enough. Paul now has cheated by standing over the ball, and had allowed his defence to get organised. Flag for offside. Biljon. Keegan. Golak up and under, and it caught Hibbert offside. Holmes. Hibbert, well intercepted by Watson. Curran setting himself for the cross. Ball back to Hibbert. And Hibbert took too much time. Really needed to be able to extricate himself a little bit quicker. Curran had made a good run, cross to Hibbert's feet. And Hibbert disappointed himself as well as his team, I suspect. Turned it back straight into the path of Boyer, and he's put it wide. But it was a free gift, and nobody will have been more relieved than Colin Biljon. Having put the ball into his own net in the first half, it looked as though he was going to end the game by giving Phil Boyer his second goal. Boyer put it wide. Shannon. The final whistle, and the first away victory in the league this season for Southampton. They've beaten Manchester City by 2-1. City waking up after the introduction of Gary Owen in midfield, but by then they were 2 goals down, Viljoen's own goal, and then the outstanding player for my money, Phil Boyer, getting Southampton's second. So by the time Power got one for City, it was too late.
Laurie, are you surprised it took you so long to get your first away win of the season?
Not really. We've had a lot to do. We've only had a couple of games where we nearly got a win. Funny enough, one was at Old Trafford. I thought we played exceptionally well that day. The other time was at Highbury. So they're not bad places to go away saying that you were unlucky. Today, I thought we probably caught Tony's lads on the right day for us. And at the end of the day, I was delighted that they got the result because I thought they earned it.
Tony, any regrets at all that you stuck with the same team that beat AC Milan?
No, none whatsoever. I know you can have regrets, especially when you lose. But no, they deserved another chance, and they've gone at this afternoon, and we've been caught on the rebound. No regrets whatsoever.
Yeah, well,
Why do you
got
think?
to do with that. I mean, a lot of people in there have asked me about, would you have done this, would you have done that? I mean, how the hell do you handle a team that's had a tremendous performance like they have? And you say to a lad, well, you're out for one game, and bring another lad in, and then he says, that means I'm only in for one game. You know, he did exactly the right thing. He stuck with the lads that had done him, and with a bit of luck, we got the first goal as it happens. That was important to us, and it's very rare that happens to us, and then we're hard to beat after that. So,
But Tony, I think you remember, out of 6 European games, you've only won once on the following Saturday. Is that just coincidence?
Well, it must be, mustn't it? We're getting a charitable organisation here, the teams that haven't won away from home. They've come, the last three teams, that we've played, like Derby County, Ipswich, and now Laurie Southampton. We've let them win and I won't stand for that. I think people know me well enough, and the players know me well enough, that don't matter what we're doing, I want consistency.
The substitution of Gary Owen seemed to make a great difference to you in the second half.
It certainly brought a spark of life to us, yeah, certainly. When he went on, we Asa pushed up, and he got in there in midfield and started doing things for us. And as I've said before, the boys got a lot of skill, but I left the team as it was because they'd done so well against Milan.
Do you think you've learnt anything from the City performance, bearing in mind Tuesday night's game in the League Cup?
We do our homework, and we know all about teams, and they are a big club and a very big team. And I know enough about cup ties that Tuesday's a completely different game altogether. I never thought I'd be fighting against complacency with my team, but this is what we'll have to do. I've already told them, and they're well done, but Tuesday is a different game. Get this one out of your system now, and all it leads up to is a cracking game. If they've got the same pride as he's got, they're going to come down and have a right go at us. Doesn't matter whether it's a cup or not. It's a great opportunity to tear back into us, and that's got all the right ingredients for a tremendous cup tie.
And Tony, have you learnt anything?
Well, certainly, yeah. Not to play the way we did today, and this is why Laurie is saying, it's going to be a different game. And as Laurie says, we'll be out there battling, and I can promise him that we'll be amongst it at the finish.
But I wonder what the game looked like to someone who was out there in the thick of it. Last time Southampton played at Main Road was 5 years ago, and their goal that day was scored by Mike Shannon. I wonder how he felt about it now on the other side of the action.
Mick, obviously disappointed that you lost, but especially disappointed because it was Southampton who beat you.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, they deserve to win. For me, we didn't get started, and I think that if we're ever going to win anything, we've got to compete for 90 minutes. You just can't turn it on and turn it off. I'm very disappointed. So
you really criticise Manchester City's lack of competition in the first half?
I do, yeah. I think we all need our backsides kicking. I think that unless we're trying to play everything, on a ground where it's got really heavy, and I don't think you can play football like that. I think we've got to get on with it. Sometimes you've got to knock it up and get it in the box and compete for it, and then you'll make things happen. This is what your Liverpools have done, and all your successful sides in the past. And I don't think we can always keep playing it pretty stuff. All right, great the other night. We've beat AC Milan. We've played some great football, but it's a completely different game today, and we've got to get out there and compete and put our foot in.
Are the players really upset?
Oh yeah. I mean that we haven't won a league game since October. Obviously, we're upset.
So what's wrong with your league form?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if it's a hangover from the other night, I don't really know. We played very well the other night. Perhaps we had the wrong attitude. I didn't feel that we came out with the wrong attitude, but the way we went in the first half was absolutely unbelievable. And I'm criticising myself along with everyone else. I think
one of the words bandied around here was careless.
Careless, yeah, call it whatever you want, But I think that in the conditions, I think that we've got to get on, and sometimes we can't always play it. We can't always play it short to feet and get people turned around. I think sometimes we've got to knock it in and compete for it in their half and compete for it in their box. I don't think you can always play good football. And if you're going to win leagues, these games are the important ones. where you're not playing well and you've got to get a result.
So what about Tuesday night? Is it going to be different then?
It'll be a different game on Tuesday. Definitely.
And our interviewer was Elton Wellesby. And that just leaves us one thing to catch up with on this match at Main Road. Who was the man of the match? For an opinion on that, we turn to Jimmy Armfield.
Well, I found it a very difficult match actually to select one player from, because Southampton's performance really was a team effort. I like Williams and Ball and Boyer, but I decided that their real effort was personified by Chris Nicholl, the centre-half, and so I decided to give the bottle of champagne to him. I thought he was outstanding from the start, and he thwarted a lot of the City attacks in the second half when City were playing well.
Thank you, Jimmy. That's a bottle of champagne for Chris Nicholl of Southampton. Now it's time for our second match, which also comes from the First Division and indeed allows us to follow the other Manchester team, United, to the baseball ground where they came up against Derby County and the old boss from Old Trafford, Tommy Docherty. ATV's cameras provide the coverage, Hugh Johns is the commentator and Derby are in the white shirts.
Jerry Daly picking up Carter. And Daly! And Daly again! Hit the ball! And surely eventually! Yes! Daly gets it in there. And that must have been, what, his third try at it. He gets three. Daly. Stuart Houston. Ritchie trying to find a bit of space for himself in the middle. Greenoff nicely down for Thomas. On to Ritchie. Looks good. Yes, it's going to go. Well, now they're going to give that goal to Andy Ritchie or McElroy. I would think in the generosity of his heart, Sammy McElroy might give that goal to Andy Ritchie, his first ever league goal. This only Manchester United's third corner of the game. Pressure has been spasmodic for Manchester United, but they've got the all-important goal. They're level 1-1. Here's Thomas with the corner. Looking for McQueen. And there's another one for Lou Macari. No, there was pushing. And Gordon McQueen doesn't like that. Manchester United in 9 games away from home. 3 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses. An even balance. And they're drawing 1-1 here at the moment. Daly hard into Macari. Koppel the cross. Jimmy Greenoff. And Thomas. That hit Carter. Macari. And Ritchie. Offside. Offside, surely. McElroy. Yes, the offside flag would have gone up long before. Could be McElroy. It is Thomas. And a terrible mistake then. And Greenoff scores. Jimmy Greenoff. Left-footed drive. 2-1. But gives the ball away to Mickey Thomas, and there's Jimmy Greenoff. Ritchie is over this side of the park, but is Greenoff needing him? Ritchie! Yes! Oh, a fine goal! Well, if there was any doubt at all about Ritchie's first goal in this game, there is no doubt whatsoever about that one. 15 minutes gone. 3-1 now, Manchester United. Now Buckley for Hill. Oh, and that was off the top of Lou Macari's head. Played back off a United defender, so it's Langan now to knock it in, cross the goals again. But he didn't. Jimmy Greenoff. The support coming from Thomas. Oh, gave the ball away to Hill. Now United have got to get back in a hurry. Hill, Daly, good try. United substitute Jimmy Nicholl. He's not going to come on. Oh. It was Langan removing. That's a yellow card, it's a red one. Oh dear, oh dear. Langan bringing down Mickey Thomas. And that's the second yellow card, or would have been the second yellow card. You can't have 2 yellow cards. So the colour dramatically changes into red. And poor Dave Langan, this his 91st consecutive League and Cup game for Derby, gets sent off for
2 fouls. Thomas across the box. McQueen swung a lazy sort of a boot at it. Buchan. There's no offside. Ritchie. He has a look and places it. And Middleton makes the save.
3-1 the final score, 2 points for Manchester United. Well, I hope you've enjoyed having the kick-off match back on the air. Just before we go, I'll remind you about a double bill of sport on Wednesday night, starting at 10:30. It'll be beginning with soccer, one of the night's League Cup quarter-finals, and then it'll be followed by boxing, amateur boxing, in fact, between the North West and an Irish select. Hope you'll be looking in then. For now, we're going to leave you with a goal from the baseball ground, a goal scored by Andy Ritchie to crown his return to the First Division.
But gives the ball away to Mickey Thomas, and there's Jimmy Greenough. Ritchie is over this side of the park, but is Greenough needing him? Ritchie, yes!